Today I wanted to once again touch upon a topic that has been bothering me for quite a while now. That is these doomed locations and their doomed residents. This entire valley I have covered. Numerous videos I have done to record its biodiversity and all. It's in the middle of a town, small town in the Western Ghats foothills. That is it's one of the high biodiversity, global biodiversity hotspot. And then so this is a commercial real estate. It used to be a farm for a long time. Then I think that large family has got divided and all, and then different people have got different portions. They've fenced off their parts, and one by one they started developing it. This block got completely cleared last year. That earth moving equipment came and moved all the earth and left one tree, that Hebbalasu, that is that Artocarpus hirsutus or something it's called. That's one important timber tree, so they saved it. Otherwise it's been cleared and some secondary growth has come. Probably it's up for sale. Then this is another parcel of the same land. Over there, that abandoned paddy field is there. It's maybe some 15-20 acres and all, that valley bottom. There also I covered the species and all, to good extent at least. Now this portion also is up for sale, and one round of some clearing they have done a few years back. Then in that round of clearing, that jackfruit tree has been saved, and the earth moving equipment wasn't bought. They've just chopped all good trees and all whatever they can sell and cleared, and then this secondary growth is happening. Next to that there's a main road, and then a lot of traffic. It's a bypass road, so it's likely to become busy over a period of years. Then across the road from here, little upstream, I have discovered that first recorded specimen of that Parasupobia hoffmanni in Karnataka. So it's a biodiversity hotspot with lot of plants there. I mean that Parasupobia hasn't been the first scientific recording of that species in Karnataka. So it's a rare thing, and it is occurring there next to that house. In front of that house I discovered it, and then I got it identified and all that. So this entire valley is a biodiversity hotspot. I mean, it's located in such a region, and as the town grows, naturally development and all is happening. There are educational institutions have come and all that, some industry also. So that place is completely gone, but that Parasupobia was there. But here, still good amount of biodiversity is there. For example, there is one, I saw that one of that cranium. Then this Aristolochia indica. Then I haven't gone into that compound, but I could see across the wall. And having surveyed this kind of location, I'm familiar with general idea I got. And then in this kind of place, normally one can expect three categories of life. That is, one is the plants. They are anyway stuck to the ground. They can't run away anywhere. If there is going to be development or some disturbance, they'll die. So that cranium lily and all will get crushed off. Some other small plants are also there. For example, that Iphigenia, there's some wild lily, some little flowers and all those kind of plants. Then the second category of life is those insects. Insects and small fauna like rats and wild mice and such things. And among the insects, some flying insects are there, they can fly off. If the bulldozers come tomorrow and then they start clearing and leveling and all those flying insects can fly off. The ones who will be definitely destroyed is the smaller insects and those insect type of creatures, that is these scorpions, then centipedes, millipedes particularly. Both can't run far distances, they just hang out in some 100 or 200 meter radius, and so they'll all get crushed off. And then small moles and all such kind of little creatures also, they can't go far. There are no big animals anyway, they come as visitors, that's all. Birds, of course, all the birds can fly off. They'll go somewhere wherever they see some trees. So, in this kind of situation, what happens to those rare insects and all? Now, every day we are hearing discoveries of new insects and new species and all. It is not a widely studied subject. Then, they also, so since it's not widely studied, there are numerous new ones to be discovered. And these kind of creatures who can't really run away or fly off and all, those who are there in this kind of place, the ideal situation is before development itself, someone will do a biodiversity survey and then systematically collect all those specimens and release them somewhere if there's a good location, somehow save them. But I don't think our authorities nor our country can afford such a, where are those, so many zoologists, biologists and all, they're not there, who's going to pay for them? All those questions come up. So, from what I was contemplating, in this kind of place, it is better to rescue those creatures who are definitely doomed. And then they can be used for scientific investigations, and people who want to breed them and learn how they multiply and all those kind of things can be done with creatures who are found here. Those millipedes, for example, they play a very important role in soil health. They are just like earthworms, they don't even bite or nothing, and then they eat the debris and all from this dead leaves and all they eat, and then they convert it to compost, that's all. So those creatures, they're very, very important for the environment. They're not studied. In fact, scientists didn't even know how their sexual parts look, how they exactly reproduce and all, because it hadn't been observed and studied. So here there is a huge, at least 100 or 200 year old tamarind tree that's been removed. Its remnants you can see over there, that pile. Complete leveling has happened here, and then I had seen the Aristolochia indica here also. Then these millipedes and centipedes and those scorpions and that category of creatures in this kind of location, they are finished. Further, to complicate the issue, the laws on these subjects are not clear. So, suppose you bump into some rare little creature whose identity also is not known, and then you know that this is this kind of place, it has no future, it's going to go. What does one do with it? You can take it and give it to the forest department, they'll probably laugh at you. because they have no time for insects and all. Entire forests and big tigers are in danger, so where's the question of insects? Then some entomology department or something may be there. Those, if someone little enterprising is there, they may have a look at it. That's about it. Then if amateur hobbyists, they come and they collect it, there may be legal questions because there is a lot of laws on this matter. So what exactly is the status of those kind of rare or not so rare also, but insects and all, doomed insects and all in this kind of location? There is no clarity. And it's important to get some understanding of how one has to deal with it, some kind of policy decision to be taken, whether these rescued animals can be used for research or I don't see any other way. I mean, who is going to rescue these? Who has the time, first of all, to do all that, nor the interest and resources? Normally in this kind of place, millipede or centipede should be there. There is some insect is there. I think it's pregnant also. So what future this creature has? This one. Got eggs and babies and all also on top of everything. Have to carefully put the stone back. So that is a very serious issue, as if the biodiversity has to be saved, that this matter has to be looked into, because thousands of acres are getting developed across this hotspot, biodiversity hotspot regions, and this pile will be the home of some former home of some thousands of little critters. Now the three parts, main parts, have been harvested and taken off, and the leftover rubble has been made into a heap. So this is the issue I wanted to talk about, how the society has to deal with this kind of, I mean, you can't stop development completely. People want to have their houses and educate their children and all that. They have their own pressures. Population also is big. Then when these towns grow, they encourage the surrounding countryside. In the farmlands get cleared up. In these farmlands itself, so many creatures are there. So if anyone has any thoughts, comments on this topic, you can write below. I'll be glad to learn from anybody.